I'm just going off on a tangent now, so bear with me.
No,
Dan be like, what happens in Vegas is between me and my wallet. And wallet, you better not fucking talk.
I jumped off a building.
All right, you ready?
Not at all. Hold on. Let me crack open a cold one. Hold on. Let me crack open a cold boy with the ones. It's not a beer, to be clear. It's an energy drink.
Damn. So I'll just put my beer away then, I guess. Fucking
No, I wish that
rude of
you had a beer. I think that'd be very funny.
It's a holiday weekend, Dan. If I want a beer at 10 in the morning, then by golly, I'll have a beer at 10 in the morning. And honestly, to prove a point,
in Vegas be like,
to prove a point, I would do it. I just don't have any in the house.
I won't lie to you. I would respect it. It would have been real funny to just be like, and you know what? Actually,
the idea of courting alcoholism is very funny to me as a guy who sells it, because I see people like that all the time. And I'm like, oh my God, respect. And I mean this like respectfully. I just sit here and I'm like, these people are the worst. I have a lot of pity for these people. And oh man, 2 pints of platinum guy in the morning really puts life in perspective, right? And then, 100%. But also, you better believe I would drink a beer right now just to prove a point to you.
Correct, dude. I have just returned from Las Vegas, Nevada.
Viva Las Vegas, Nevada.
Viva,
as the song says.
That's how it goes. That, you know, and I when I walk, you know, it's crazy. They say that all the time. They say in
there in Las Vegas.
In Las Vegas, they just constantly.
You walk up and you're like, "Oh, hello," and they're like, "Viva Las Vegas, Nevada. How can I help you?"
Common greeting of the time.
They said "Viva Las Vegas, Nevada," as was the style at the time.
Exactly. No, it was great. I got to kind of do everything I would have wanted to do. Like I've had an eventful week, and I gotta be real with you, man. I am more sober in this exact second than I have been in the last 6 days.
I mean, you were in Las Vegas, so that does make sense.
It makes sense. They literally, my God,
like,
I feel like
not literally. They basically give you free drinks as long as you sit down at a slot machine. So,
yeah, you know what? I was disappointed because the casino that I was in, I'm sure they do that, but I did not see any of the waitresses walking around, and that made me very sad.
Aw, that is disappointing.
It was, because then I went over to the Bellagio, and they absolutely had them there.
Oh yeah.
But
the nicer the casino, the more they're like, "Oh, here, you've been sitting at this machine for 2 hours. You must be parched. Let us get you a complimentary alcoholic beverage."
God, dude, it would be the problem. That's honestly the problem. So I only spent about $20 on the slot machines. Oh, yeah. And I didn't play any of the table games. I'm like, Oh,
you didn't play blackjack or anything? I feel like that's what I would want to do, because that's what I would have fun with.
The problem is the buy-ins are so high.
Oh, actually, yeah, that's a good point, isn't it?
I didn't see a single table where the buy-in was less than like $15.
I'm not gonna lie to you, man. That seems like if I'm on vacation and I'm gonna play blackjack one day, that is a reasonable price in my mind. But I do understand.
The problem is I was supposedly I was supposed to be on a relatively tight budget that I then accidentally blew out of the water. But
Viva Las Vegas, baby.
I was trying
Viva Las
so
Vegas,
hard
Nevada.
to say.
I'm sorry.
Thank you. As opposed to Las Vegas,
Portland.
Yes, Las Vegas, Portland. You know, this from the state of Portland.
Exactly. Fuck.
But no, it was really cool. It was a delightful time. Lost every cent that I put into a machine instantly.
Oh yeah,
made no money.
Oh yeah.
Unlike a friend of the podcast said, who made like $300 in the slot machines.
Shout out.
And didn't blow it all.
Wow.
Like an insane yeah, no, right? Insane.
Nothing but respect for my president.
Correct. My Canadian president.
No, we can claim him too.
Yeah. We're yes,
in Canadian money, he won like $8,000.
You know what's so fun? So at one point, they have this place. They have a big esports arena, and I was staying in the Luxor, the big pyramid. And they have an esports arena, and I dropped like $40 and streamed out of there for a couple hours on Saturday.
Yeah.
One, it's very funny first
Oh
of
yeah.
all, but
Oh yeah.
two, it seems like it'd be like a unique experience, like not something that I would normally be able to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I, uh, it was really fun and cool, except for the part that I didn't like. Once I sat down in there the day of to get prepped up, I realized very quickly that the reason that that area exists is because parents keep bringing their goddamn kids to Vegas,
Oh my god. So they pay to have
and
their kid kept busy
it's
at the token computer
mhm,
lab.
yep, it's babysitting.
Oh my
It's
god. So
goddamn
you're sitting here
babysitting,
trying to stream and there's a bunch of just kids screaming all around you.
pretty
Oh
much.
my god. You know what sucks is
Austin,
I sit here and I'm
Austin.
like, yeah, this makes sense, but also fuck.
Well, no, exactly. Like I'm more angry at the parents who brought their children to Vegas than anything else. Side note,
Don't bring your kids to
I'm just gonna
Vegas.
say if you go to Vegas and you have if you for any reason other than like I'll accept if you're there for like a wedding and you have to bring your kids, something like that, sure. But if you go to Vegas for any reason other than like a wedding or an obligation and you bring your children that are anyone under the age of 21, really, you're a piece of shit and I hate you. I just listen, I don't make the
Hey,
rules.
no, you don't make the rules. Honestly, it's a hard
I
stance that you
just
have to live by, but you know,
simply do not. If I were you, if I had children, I would simply not bring them to one of the most debaucherous cities in the world.
frankly,
Like
you're right.
I know. Listen, I'm right, and I should say it. Quite frankly,
You are.
like even play like it wouldn't. Even, excuse me. My throat is still recovering from all the screaming I did while I was in Vegas.
Of course, of course.
I wouldn't even, like over time. Supposedly, Vegas has been leaning more and more resorty and not just debaucherous gambling. However, it is still very much that to the point where anytime I saw a child, I got immediately uncomfortable.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, right?
I,
And this is my very firm stance on things. There
Mhm.
should be places where kids just are not invited.
Yeah.
Vegas is one. Honestly, many resorts, kids I don't think should be
Mhm.
at because
Yeah.
adults need a place away from kids to be able to hang out. There can be a place near the adult only resort, and it doesn't need to be adult only because people are having sex in the pool. You know, it just needs to
I
be
wish that were us.
Grimace 2023 be like no, but it doesn't need to be like that because people are being like lewd publicly.
hmm
It just needs to be like that so that people can enjoy a vacation without kids there. And I know that there's resorts like that. I know there's plenty of places. I'm saying there should be more and there should be less child-friendly resorts that serve alcohol flat out, period.
I would agree. I think it's not even a hot take to say if you serve alcohol, maybe you shouldn't have children there.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's, I
Especially
think
because, especially like in like resort town type places, it's like you know people in those areas aren't carding people. I mean, Dan, you peruse TikTok on occasion, right?
Oh, of course.
So
I have been on the TikToks in my day.
I'm sure you've seen the people that are holding like the video that I always think of. There's a guy with a half gallon of Crown Apple, and he's pouring it into a jug, and he's measuring it. And as he dumps out the measuring thing, he keeps pouring, and he's like, "Okay, cool. That's like 7 shots, 10 shots." But like, if you actually count how long the man's been pouring, you're looking at a solid like 20 shots in that drink.
Mm-hmm.
That's the kind of atmosphere a lot of different places end up having. And you know people in places like that. Now, granted, I'm sure there's no kids in that kind of place,
Well,
right?
you
I hope
no,
there's no kids in that
no,
kind of place. But
nah,
places
dude.
like that are not
'Cause that's
carding
all-
as
that's
carefully
all
as
of
they
Vegas.
should
That's
either.
the thing. That's every single
Fucking
place
hell,
I went to in
man.
Vegas was, and I appreciate it. Very generous with their pours. I appreciate.
Well, yeah,
I appreciate,
they want you to play bad poker.
exactly. But no, that it was a pretty constant thing of there was almost always, not literally always, but there was almost always a child around somewhere, and it sucked.
Especially
It sucked a
because
lot.
legally, children aren't allowed to do most of the things in Vegas.
That's the other thing. That's the other thing I just couldn't fathom, frankly. Is I just why are you here? You know? Like that's really what it comes down to. It's just why why are you here?
I think I would have a lot of fun in Vegas. You know,
I think I had
um,
a ton of fun in Vegas. I think you actually would love the fuck out of Vegas. I think the problem with Vegas is it's way too goddamn easy, even on a budget. Like I was on a budget the entire time, and I still fucking went way over budget.
Oh, without a
It
doubt.
it's
It would
just too
definitely
fucking
be
easy to
something that you would have to
spend
be
money.
super careful about.
I was no, I can't tell you. I was so careful, and
No, and by
I
you I mean me, because I also know I would do the same thing.
honestly, the thing that threw me was I was expecting New York prices for food and drink. That didn't shock me. The thing that did surprise me was that I got New York prices for food and drink, but I got like Southern quantities of food and drink. Like, yeah, it cost $30.
Oh, so you pay $30 for a sandwich, but then you get like the sandwich platter instead of
exactly. And so there
a
were multiple
single
times where
sandwich.
I realized, oh wow, I wasted like $20 on food for this because I
you only needed to buy once a day, and then just
Mhm.
pop it in the fridge in your suite.
That was the other thing. None of us got a mini fridge in our room because, of course, you have to pay extra for that because it's
yeah,
Vegas. And that's also that would be like because we went. Okay, so I went with a group of friends. There was 8 of us by the end. When everyone was there were 8 of us, and it was amazing. I highly recommend. I think 8 was the perfect amount. I think 6 would have also been a really good amount. Because then you can split some of the really expensive shit. Like we went at karaoke one of the last nights, and we were like, all right, well, we all want to get shots. And of course, it's Vegas and it's a karaoke bar. It's fucking $10 a shot.
Yeah.
$20 a shot. My bad.
Yeah.
25 for Patron. Like, the fuck. But then we were like, okay, do the math. Yeah, we could do that, or we could get the fucking bottle service, which adds 2 hours to our karaoke time, gives us 2 entrees for the room, and then also a bottle of Patron with all of its fucking chasers. You know what? Fuck it. And yeah, was that $500? But split 6 ways, it's not that bad for as much as you get out of it. It's still a lot, but like for Vegas, that's not fucking bad. One of the days we were there, we got a little cabana out by the Mandalay Bay pools because we were like, fuck it, it's pool day. And that was also super expensive, but in the same vein, it just, it splits 8 ways. It suddenly becomes a lot more reasonable and like not insane to do. Like it becomes a suddenly a relatively speaking manageable amount of money to put down for it. I had a blast. I would go again. I would not go again for a while, just simply financially.
Right,
but
right.
I would absolutely go again at some point in the future. And I jumped off a building, Noah. I jumped off an 800-foot building.
Dan, I need you to understand that I got a panic reaction to you saying that.
Yeah, dude, good. It was amazing. That was actually one of the experiences of my life, truly. Off of the what is the name of the casino called? Hold on, give me 2 seconds. Hold on. I'll get there. The Strat, which is the tallest observation tower in the U.S. They had a thing where it's not even like a bungee jump. It's a free fall, and yeah, you just fucking go for. They strap you in and you just go for it, and you just fucking throw yourself off the side of a building. It was very cool. It was extremely, extremely cool. 10 out of 10 would do again. Has actually fully convinced me that I actually would, in fact, love to go skydiving someday.
Damn, I can't believe you're going to go skydiving someday.
I am, actually, because one of Michelle and I's friends is a certified instructor and has offered anytime down in Virginia Beach to take me. So your boy is 100% going skydiving as soon as possible. That's just a question of when now. It was very cool. It was an insanely neat experience. I got to see a Cirque du Soleil show. That was really cool. Oh my god. Okay. This is gonna take a minute to get through this explanation. So there's this place called Area 15.
Okay.
Area 15 is a warehouse-sized. They call it an immersive entertainment venue. Is what they call it, according to Google. But it's got some art. It's got alcohol. It's got a couple of like little art, like physical art displays that you walk through. It's got some like infinity rooms, stuff like that. Very cool. But kind of the best part, the biggest like number one thing in it is Omega Mart.
Oh man, I love Omega Mart, man. I want to go there so bad.
Oh, do you know this?
Oh, I'm familiar with Omega Mart. Yeah,
dude, it was the coolest fucking thing.
A fucking AR puzzle room, basically, right?
AR puzzle, like
Not
Not
room,
even room. It's like a fucking
supermarket.
complex. Yeah. Well, yeah. So without like giving everything away, like yeah, there's the front of house supermarket, and then like there's like 6 different ways to do it. But like you walk through like if you walk through like one of the you open one of the like the deli meat freezers, right, or the deli freezers, right, and then there's a tunnel, and you go through the tunnel, and then you're in the rest of the fucking exhibit. Which is like these like this like back room kind of like hyper corporate factory. There's like it's insane. It's insanely cool. I actually truly could not recommend it enough. I do not remember how much it was because I spent all that money ahead of time and didn't look at it once I was there.
Mhm.
Um, there is a Omega Mart card that you can get, and if anyone ever goes to Vegas and thinks, "Oh, well, I don't know if it's worth it to get," it's worth it to get. Do it. It's what actually it's what switches it from just a, "Oh, I'm wandering through this experience," to an actual like story puzzle type thing. Cannot possibly recommend highly enough. It was amazing. I also found out, excuse me, I didn't know this. So Area 15 has this. It's a thing, but there's also apparently a couple of other Area 15s, and each one is unique.
Yeah.
Each one has its own like its own what's the word? Hold on one second, I got there. Each one has its own like story and experience, which is very fucking cool. According to like from what I found, that is. Sorry, I should be more. I shouldn't just make claims like that. But from what I was reading, each one has its own like unique experience, and they're not completely disconnected.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it's super cool. It's insanely cool. I truly don't have words for like.
No, that is cool as hell.
Where is it? Hold on. Oh, okay. No, I lied. Sorry. The other one is Convergence Station, which is also an immersive art thing, and that's in Dallas or Denver. So, Denver, not Dallas. My bad. Which is apparently it's almost a continuation or side story, connected story to the Omega Mart, which is pretty cool. Yeah, just very cool. A delight, a fucking absolute fucking delight. I can say this without spoiling anything. So you go through the whole story, you finish it, whatever.
Mhm.
When you are done, and this is a hey, if anyone ever goes, when you are done, ask one of the like staff members, be like, hey, is it just this is the end of the story, basically, and they'll tell you yes, and you'll know when it's the end. It's fine. Then they directed me to I guess they called him the game master. I assume he's the manager, right?
Yeah.
On duty at the time. And the manager on duty at the time had this little like ring of cards with different challenges on them. Essentially like your victory lap challenges, right? And first of all, mans won't even talk to you until you go back to all like little computer stations and like do a specific series of events. And he's like, no, and then I can't even give you the challenges until you do the pre-challenge.
I love that.
And then there are challenges. There's like, some of them are easy. Some of them are like, hey, figure out the hidden message coded in the names of the different devices scattered throughout the factory area. One of them was, hey, find all the pictures of the founder that are in the entire I guess exhibit, for lack of a better word,
Mhm.
experience.
The mart, if you will.
In the entire mart. One of them was like, fuck, what was the other one? Oh, find all the representations of the mascots that are scattered around. And then the last one, apparently it is always the last one, is there are 14 artist representations of bananas scattered throughout the park, the exhibit. When I say artist representation, I say that with big air quotes because yeah. And if you find all of them, you get a little prize out of it, and that I think is pretty cool. Apparently, it's all and they're like all like handmade prizes by the staff too. It's not like like big.
Oh my God, I
like
love that.
It's like a little handmade thing. But yeah, it was incredible. It was that experience is the one that I would be like, if you ever go to Vegas, take a day and do that. We didn't even get there was like there's a VR arcade there. There's an actual arcade there. There's a bunch of other art experience like it. Very, very cool, but the Omega Mart is definitely like the centerpiece, I would call it.
Mhm.
The crowning, if you're gonna go do this for sure type thing. Cannot recommend it highly enough. Physically cannot. What else did I do? That honestly, that was a lot of it. That hit a lot of the big notes. I didn't do any. Didn't get to go to like the Gordon Ramsay Steakhouse. I didn't get to do some of the other stuff. Some of the other gang did. There's also they
I
went
mean,
to
fair though, because if you went there, you'd be paying like $300 for a single plate, and that's a
exactly back to on a budget, on a budget, on a budget.
right.
I would simply not spend $400 at Gordon Ramsay Steakhouse. Thank you. But I feel like I got like, and I also left a few days early. Everyone else I think is leaving. Today is Monday. Everyone is leaving tomorrow. I think tomorrow or Wednesday. I think. But I feel like I got my money's worth out of it. I don't feel like even if I blew my budget, I don't feel like I wasted it. I feel like it was the experience of maybe not literally the experience of a lifetime, but like overall one of the coolest experiences of my life. And I would love to go back someday when I have enough money to do so.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we've joked about OTA Takes Vegas. One of these days, we'll just all go out as a group again.
I would love to. I think that'd be a great idea. One thing that was the other thing is now that I've done it once, I also can go and I can be like, okay, well, if I go back, I'm not going to stay in one of the big casinos. I'm just not, unless I am like independently wealthy and it's actually worth it, because there are so many like essentially Airbnbs and motels right off the strip, like not even a mile off the strip. And it makes way more sense to do those and just walk there in the morning before it gets too hot. We'll just walk over to the strip and then spend the rest of the day at the strip and then walk back in the evening. Like that's the smarter plan. I would do things like I would make sure that the first day I go, there's still like CVS and Walgreens. Like I could still go and get like food supplies. You know what I mean? Like I would go and get some supplies day one and then have that ready to go for the rest of the trip, kind of thing. Just little things that now I know and I know better, but I wish little things that now I know and I know better, but I could not possibly have known ahead of time. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, the kind of things that you can read any number of lists about. Oh, before you go to place, make sure you
Exactly.
prepare for things.
Exactly.
But it's like
that doesn't mean you're just saying words at me.
exactly. It's like, oh yeah, oh don't worry, buddy. I'll make sure that I pack plenty of water before I go out in the desert. But then you go out in the desert and you're like, oh my god, they really did mean it, didn't they?
Oh my god, there was so much. Why was there no water? It was like it was the desert or something. Oh, that was the other thing, is that, as somebody who's a East Coast boy, God, I was super prepared for the West Coast temperature. That didn't bother me. That was fucking phenomenal. The dry, no allergen air. Oh my God. I came back and immediately started coughing when I got off the plane, literally just because of the air quality shift.
Oh yeah.
No, I mean, and it wasn't even like, it's not even like Vegas has insanely clean air. It's just way better than fuck off New Jersey. Like, and also, I'm a fucking lizard, so clean, dry 90-degree air. Let's fucking go. But yeah, no, it's the desert. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. For somebody also from the East Coast, was very cool to see the insane difference in terrain. Like, I almost said terrain generation.
Oh my god, Dan.
In train type, because like it was, Vegas is in this massive flat area in the middle of a bunch of mountains, and yeah, we have massive mountains on the East Coast, but we don't have as many like flat areas of mountains on all sides, kind of thing. Like that's just not really a thing. And so that was also very cool to see. It was very cool to have that like, oh wow, this is like such a completely different experience from what I'm used to, just visually.
Like that was my big take. Driving through the Dakotas is the entire world was flat. Like Montana was flat-ish, but we were in mountains, and I knew we were in mountains. Also, the sky legitimately does look bigger there. It's very uncanny.
It's super weird.
But,
no, it absolutely does.
It's just things are so flat, and I never realized because like Pennsylvania's not like a mountainous region, but also we are connected to the Appalachian Mountains. Like we are the tail end of these bad boys.
Yeah.
And I think that's so funny that there are so many places that are just like, you're just kind of there and you can look out and there's the stuff, but there's nothing
stuff.
like
there's no stuff to see.
like that's something that's so foreign to me because at least we got woods. At least there's no woods in
Mm-hmm.
the desert.
Nope.
Like miles and miles, longer than you think they are away. You got mountains that you can see.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck,
Oh
it's
yeah.
weird. That's so
It's
interesting too.
it's so cool. It was like I said, it truly was such a insane experience. And I've been to, well, the other thing is that I thought was really interesting is I was in Reno a year or so ago for work. Um, and even that didn't really prep me for capital V Vegas. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, just insanely in like how shockingly different it is, but not alien. Actually, is the word I would use. It like I get why they shoot fucking alien movies in the middle of the desert, just because there's nothing fucking else out there. Very cool experience.
it
10 out
does
of 10
make
would go
sense,
again.
doesn't it?
Yeah, right. 10 out
Nothing
of 10
there.
would
You
go
can.
again.
It's alien enough to people who aren't from there that it's like, whoa, this is fucked up, man.
Yeah, kinda. Listen, it was awesome. It was one of the cooler things I've ever done.
I'm glad you had a
Um,
chance to do it. It's honestly, it's really cool.
it was awesome. I'd go back. I would definitely go back. I definitely I I definitely like Vegas probably a little more than A, that I thought I would, but B, than I probably should, even just because it is kind of like the not even so much a little bit the debauchery, but also like just the entire vibe of the city is that it is kind of a nonstop, like there's always something going on, as much as New York always has something going on. Vegas always has something going on.
Hmm.
It doesn't really matter if you're like, if all you want to do with your time is spend $30 on a fucking frozen alcoholic beverage and walk down the strip. That is an extremely valid way to spend time, and you will see sights untold. Like you will still have a really cool experience in just doing that.
I know my
Um,
uncle. He used to go there all the time for work, because all kinds of corporations have like events
mhm.
there because Vegas will
Dell,
cut
Dell,
you such a deal for it.
yeah, Dell was actually having an event there when we went.
Makes
They
sense.
interrupted. They interrupted one of our like plans because of it. They were just because they had reserved the space.
Assholes. How dare they?
Mm-hmm. Fuck them. Bunch of dicks.
But yeah, my uncle was always talking about the free things you could do in Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
Just literally, and one of his things was just walking around. And he's like,
Yeah.
you can go see the fountains. They're gorgeous in
Yeah.
the daytime, but they're even better at night when they're lit up.
Oh my god. I walked through the Venetian, and so the Venetian is supposed to be like pseudo Venice, well, not pseudo Venice. It's supposed to be Venice inspired,
Hmm.
or Italy inspired rather. And it was wild to see because I went through during the daytime, and then at night they dim all the lights in there, and then they turn on all like the street lamps, and it becomes a completely different vibe. Same with New York, New York. Like the daytime version of New York, New York, and the nighttime version are completely different experiences, and it's awesome. It truly, because and all these things are for free. You can just walk. No, there's nowhere that I went in Vegas that I felt like, oh, I can't be here. You know what I mean? Like you can just walk, just do things,
That's so
see what you
cool.
want, do what you want. It's very cool. I don't want to like hype it up too much, but it was very very cool.
No, I think you're hyping it up enough. It's
Okay, good.
well, it's one of those things where everybody is just like, "Oh my god, this is so cool. This is so neat and special." And
It's different when it's someone doing it.
exactly, because you can once again read endless lists of, "Oh, did you know that Vegas is cool?" And it's like, "Yeah, man, no shit, Vegas is cool." But you're telling me, "Man, I had so much fun. Vegas was really cool." And I'm like, "Hell yeah, it was."
Hell yeah, you did have fun. Yeah, that's exactly it. It's very much it is definitely unique. It is definitely like nowhere else I've ever been, and I've been more than one or two places. I definitely do think that it's a little dangerous, and it's way too easy to spend money, but two, it's way too easy to just like get caught up in the vibe of the whole thing and just like forget that, oh shit, this is not like
This isn't real life. This is Las Vegas,
a
and I have
little,
to
yeah,
go
no,
home.
a little, yeah, no, genuinely, like the joke of haha happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. I understand why. I understand how you could fall into the trap of that mindset. I like I get it. I'm not saying that like I'm not saying I went out and blew my money on a strip club, but like I understand how that would happen.
Oh, yeah, no, 100%. There's a whole lot of stuff that could happen stupid easy just
Hmm.
because that's the
That's
vibes of
Vegas.
the place that you're in. That's Vegas, baby.
That's Vegas, baby. The amount of times I looked at the price of something and went, "Well, that's Vegas, baby." It's not
Crying to
great.
yourself. It's
Kinda,
Vegas,
yeah.
baby.
Slowly forking over 20s. Yeah, basically. Um,
And how many $20 bills will this be? Ah, yes. That's Vegas, baby.
uh, it's Vegas, baby. Yeah, actually, me by the last day. Not even joking.
Yeah.
Dude, it got expensive. It got real expensive real quick. That's all. It just I like again, and not that's the other thing is it was expensive in ways that I did expect, and also expensive in ways I didn't expect. I expected to blow a bunch of money on food and booze. I didn't expect to blow as much as I did, but
Yeah,
I did expect to.
you didn't expect to blow Vegas money on food and booze,
It
which in
kinda,
hindsight,
yeah.
that was a stupid thing to not expect. However,
What was I doing? I should have known, but I should have been known.
Dan be like, what happens in Vegas is between me and my wallet. And wallet, you better not fucking talk.
Me, kinda, yeah. You better not be a fucking narc. Yeah, dude, it was awesome. It was all told, it was an amazing experience. I would do it again in a heartbeat. If you have the money and are over the age of 21, I would over the age of 21 and enjoy being a degenerate for a few days, I would absolutely recommend it. I think that's the other thing, because I do think there's a certain amount of, not even a certain amount, there's a lot of degeneracy, non-derogatory that comes with Vegas. And I think that you have to be, if you're not willing to embrace that a little bit, you're not going to have a good time. We had one member of our group who just like very much didn't seem like they had fun simply because like they
Couldn't get into the vibe of Vegas.
yeah,
baby.
they were way too inside their own head about it, frankly. But I'm not blaming somebody for that. It's more just that's why. But yeah, you got if you got to be you kind of got to be willing to meet Vegas where it is and isn't. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, it's one of those things, right? Where it's like, no disrespect to the friend who did not have a good time.
No, of course, none. No,
because
no,
I definitely get where you could get kind of stuck in a situation where you just end up spiraling and not having fun with it.
100%.
But I can't imagine going to Vegas without the intent of, all right, let's just be a little goofy and have fun and just like,
Yeah,
do it.
yeah.
Because
No, you got it.
that's what I'd be looking to do,
That's the point. That is, in fact, the whole point of going is to be just a silly little guy.
You love to see it. Absolutely love to see it.
I do, that's for sure. And I'm very excited for the day that I eventually will get to go back. I don't know when that
Checks
day will be.
calendar in 3 years, 4 years, maybe.
I was saying a decade. I'll be honest.
Honestly, that makes sense
It was
to me.
that much.
Well, too much of a good thing is too much of a good thing. I mean, it's like when you drink a gallon of orange juice and then you die. You know what I mean?
I'm sorry?
I don't need to elaborate on that because it's such a familiar experience. Chat is agreeing with me right now, Dan. It's so familiar. There's no
thanks,
reason for me
chat.
to elaborate. Thanks, chat. As usual, chat has my back over yours.
The difference is your chat actually likes you. My chat just likes to bully me.
Well, Dan, have you ever considered if you want chat on your side, then maybe you should make them like you, or at least say things that you disagree with enough that they're like, oh, because we hate Dan, we're going to back up Noah even if we don't agree.
You know what? I have. But Noah, I believe in being true to who I am as a person, I'm not going to sacrifice my integrity just for some cheap views, okay? Unlike some people.
Are you sure about that?
No, not at all.
I was gonna say, I feel like I do remember many conversations on this podcast even where you said, hey man, slide $1 in my pocket and I'll sing the praises of squints at the fine print, anti-boner aging cream.
Hey, listen, man, it works. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, you got $2 out of it, huh?
$1 equals one like equals one prayer.
$1 equals one acknowledgement. $2 equals a light praise.
And you know what? It works. That's all I'm saying. The system works. Yeah, man, it was awesome. That I could go on forever and just keep talking about shit, but it was amazing. I got everything I could possibly wanted out of it. And then some, quite frankly. Like I have no regrets with how I spent my time or my money.
Well, that's good.
I'll say, how you been? What you been up to this week?
I've been doing pretty good. Let's see, what did I do this week? I don't think I've been doing anything this week. I think I've just been working.
I'm not gonna lie to you. For a second, I had the thought of no matter what he says, I'm gonna be like, yeah, but you weren't in Vegas, so. uh, and then
Nah.
it would have been a pretty dick move. Would have been pretty funny.
It would have
but
been very
definitely
funny.
Definitely a dick move.
Yeah, Dan. Actually, I went and saw 3 of my friends' bands were playing. I went to go check that out. And,
Hell yeah, dude.
You know, I went out and I,
yeah, but it wasn't Vegas, was it?
No.
Got him.
But that's pretty much it. I went and saw some bands.
Okay.
That's fun. It's nice.
No, that is fun.
Concerts during the summer definitely pick up over the winter because you can have patio concerts at breweries that charge too much for beer.
You know, I think I've talked about it on the podcast before, but I
hate beer. We know.
No, I've never really been to a concert, even like a small time thing like that. I've been at a bar that had live music, so I guess that counts.
And it's one of those things, right? Where like you got the concert and versus gig versus show guys, and it's a gig if you're working it. It's a show if it's not in a concert venue, and it's a concert if it's a nationally touring band at a big venue.
Yeah, I've never been to a concert. I have been to a gig.
Because you worked it?
No.
Oh, then you've been to a show.
Well, I mean, okay, all right, fine, be that way, but fine. I've been to a show. That's about it. It's one of the things that I do feel like I've kind of not literally missed the boat on, but like
yeah, because there's still plenty of chances. Whenever you eventually come up to Erie at some point, there's
someday.
Definitely, if you're here over the weekend, there is likely going to be good chance that exactly some friend of mine is going to be having some sort of show. It's just whether or not you would enjoy it would be the big thing.
I mean, that's true too.
And I mean that not in a derogatory way.
No, non-derogatory. Absolutely. Yeah. No, I did not take it that way at all.
Yeah, Nina did not come to me or come with me to the one show I went to because it was going to be a primarily metal show. Like I know my audience. I know who likes what and who doesn't.
I know my type. I would love to. I think it'd be really fun. It's one of the things that I do feel like I have not enough experience with, and that does not spark joy.
Mm-hmm. And honestly, here's my prediction, right? The takeaway is going to be you'll be like, oh, this was pretty cool. Not really my thing. Because
I think
it's going to be
very probable, yeah.
Oh, what's the phrase I'm looking for? You're going to think of it as more complicated background music.
That's not unfair, actually. Yeah, that's probably about right.
And I don't mean that in a bad way, because if you are going there and I am going to see my friend's band, but you are going to hang out with me, it's not, the music isn't going to connect for you the same way that it's going to connect for me. I'll be there and whispering to you on the side, or yelling probably over the music. I'll be like, Dan, this song is called Batowski. It's about how the singer really loves their dog.
Fuck yeah, dude.
And the song will play, and then I'll be like, this next one, this is called Red Barrels, and it's about explosive temper in young men.
Amazing. Listen, honestly, you're selling me pretty hard on those.
It would be one of those things where it's like I'll be having a blast and a half, and you'll be like, that's cool. That's cool.
I just think it's neat.
For you, it was a life-changing weekend, but for me, it was very loud music.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely see that. I think that that is probably the difference between going to a show and doing like a actual concert at some point.
Because if you're going to a show with me, you're not going to know anyone who's there. You're not going to know any of the music. I'll play you some on the way over on Spotify, and you'll be like, yeah, okay. And then they'll play one of the songs I played, and you'll be like, I remember this one. But if you're going to a concert, you bought those tickets because you want to see
that person,
that guy, and then you'll be like, oh, and then the supporting people, whoever they are, whatever, But you got to see Salvonic because that's who you bought a ticket to go see.
Yeah. 100%. And you know what? And that's a really good way to phrase it too, because I'm thinking like for comedy shows too, because I've been to a couple of comedy shows now, and that's exactly the vibe it is. Is that like you got your one person you're there to go see, and then everyone else is also there.
God, comedy shows are such a fucking mixed bag.
Really, I've only had good experiences so far.
No, because all the comedy shows I've been to have been like group comedy events. So there's like 6 comedians, right? Like many comedy shows, in fact. You know, I'm not buying a ticket to go see Single Guy. I'm
I
buying
see
a
what you're
ticket
saying.
for
I see
comedy
what you're
night
saying.
at.
Yep.
And
Yep.
those can be hit or miss.
Yeah. Those can definitely be insanely hit or miss. Actually.
It was okay. So we went to one whole family, and it was really funny because the guy warming everyone up is like big, like edgelord humor kind of guy,
Yikes.
and then the next person was fine, but then the next person was this like lesbian, this black lesbian, and she was
Amazing.
very funny for me, but I could tell that like my dad did not enjoy her that much because it was
funny
jokes that were not geared toward him, but I was familiar with them, so even though they weren't geared toward me either, I got it.
You got it.
You know, like they were jokes that I could connect with.
Nice.
Meanwhile, my dad, who is sitting in, we were sitting in a bad spot, and the sound man was abysmally bad. And the guy's like, "How's it sound, guys?" And my dad's like, "Sounds like shit." And he's like, "Well, maybe you should turn your hearing aids down, Grandpa."
That's one, very funny, but two, also, like I feel like nobody at any fucking event that I've ever been to knows how to fucking do the soundboard, and that is painful and hurts my soul.
It's, you know, I was talking about this with Nina about my sister. Shout out to Edge. I know you're not listening, but that's okay. Edge went to go do karaoke, and the sound guy at the karaoke place was very bad. And, you know, we can sit here and go, ha 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 ha. The sound guy at karaoke is always bad, actually. But like,
but this was bad enough that Edge told you about it.
Well, it's here's the double-edged sword of growing up in a musical house with a dad who was a professional sound man for a while.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, that was his gig outside of working at GE was nights in the weekend. That's how my parents met, actually. So there's your everyone. You're welcome. You got your lore for Noah's family. Congratulations.
This is the lore that I am fascinated by, but we'll talk about it some other time. Anyway, go off.
But you know, we grew up knowing what good stuff sounded like. And when you grow up knowing what good stuff sounds like,
and you start hearing not so good
boy
stuff.
Howdy, dude. Is it that I have zero tolerance for bad stuff, or am I just being like, do I have standards, or am I being a perfectionist? You start to wonder that. And then you realize, oh no, I have standards. I'm not being a perfectionist. I just actually give a shit. Okay.
Yeah.
This isn't just me. This is so many other people actually have a problem here.
No, it's insane how, because I mean I'm nowhere near as entrenched in it as you guys are, but I do care quite a bit about the quality of my audio.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that there are times when you are given a podcast to listen to and someone's like, "Oh my god, this podcast is so funny." And then you listen to it and the first thing you hear is because there's like some buzzing background, like you can hear the fluorescent lights in the office room.
Instantly triggering.
I know. Like I sit here, I'm looking at my waveform right now, and I can see that it is picking up the hum of my computer. There's nothing I can do about it. The mic arm is bolted into my desk inches from the computer. I can't do anything about it. I can fix it. I remove it. No one notices it. Unfortunately, everyone probably notices Jackson's because Jackson's in a hot box and he cannot afford to turn off his like airflow in that.
Jackson's been
when
hotboxing every episode.
He hotboxes every episode, man. But you know, like you can hear the fans kick in when he talks, and then when he's not talking, they go away. And but there are people who will do 2 raw audio files that they approximately make the same volume, and not even always. And then they'll also have a soundboard. And I'm saying this out loud right now, and I'm realizing, hey, Carly, not about you. This is not about you, okay?
Nice recovery.
Because,
clean.
Okay, well,
Carly will never suspect this is all about.
Well, here's the thing. As soon as I said soundboard, I realized Carly also does a soundboard. And this isn't about Carly. I'm actually thinking of some very specific people right now who, like, because Carly records with real microphones. Carly and I talked about what setup to pick up
Mm-hmm.
I gave general pointers on how to like edit the audio. Carly does research on shit. Carly's podcast sounds nice. Between the Fridges, available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, I think.
Nice.
Definitely Spotify, because that's where I listen.
Nice.
And I've actually been on there before. It was a fun little crossover episode.
Wow, sick invite.
I don't remember what we even talked about now. I didn't invite you because it was I didn't want to talk to you. So
That
you know how
talk
it is.
enough as it is, frankly.
But there were these guys back when I was doing the barbershop gig
Mhm.
who knew me through that and somehow found out. Oh, they didn't, not somehow found out. They found out I did a podcast because my boss talked about it as a way to like make fun of me, which firstly, dick move of him. Secondly, hilarious that he was on the podcast hate train without even realizing that train existed. Very funny in that context and that context alone.
That is really funny, to be honest, though.
But, you know, this man blabs about my private life. It ends up getting out that I have a podcast, and I end up getting an email.
Mm-hmm.
I get an email talking about, oh, I was just, you know, talking about like collabing or something.
I remember this, actually.
And they immediately back off because I like listen to one of their episodes and I'm like, this sounds like shit, man. This bums me out because this sounds like shit. And I always hate guesting on a podcast virtually, knowing that my stuff's gonna sound different because I have a very nice microphone. I know I have a very nice microphone.
Yeah.
I went all out because whenever this podcast is done, I'm still gonna use this microphone to record. You know, it's just
doesn't go away.
Exactly. Like, I'm going to be recording music with this microphone for years to come. Just because the podcast is over doesn't mean that I'm going to be over, you know? I'm over when I say I'm over. I'm not washed. I'm not washed.
You're over when the people finally get, when your crimes finally catch up to you is what happens.
So true,
But
so
go
true.
off, King.
But, you know, these guys
Go
were
off,
recording on, like, a laptop mic, like, built in, or on a phone mic, which I'm going to say... I am a proponent of recording on your phone mic. Phone mics have good quality sound pickup on them. Enough that if you edit them, if you have a current gen phone and you have it sat down on a pillow, one phone per person, and then you sync up the audio, that's not bad.
I can back that. Yeah,
I've done it before. It's not a terrible system. It's just not perfect. And as long as you edit it, it doesn't matter. You know. But these guys were like, raw audio from a phone or a laptop, and they had a soundboard, and the soundboard was clearly the funniest shit in the world to them because the one guy just kept stringing the soundboard together, and it's one of those things where they were clearly having a very good time, right?
I mean, and honestly, you can get away with a lot simply by virtue of me and my friends are having a good time.
You really can.
Literally is how this podcast gets made.
But here's the thing. You can't get away with that when beyond your friend circle.
Yes.
If you are there having a good time and that's how you decide to make your podcast, that's great. But only your friends will tune in because only your friends care about your dumb little in-jokes having a good time with them. Once again, that's fine if that's what you want to do. But many people don't want to listen to that. And then I ended up reaching back out to them saying, hell yeah, man. Oh, I didn't say that because I was a good little boy then. I'm like, hey man, yeah, sounds good. If you guys would ever want to collab sometime, I think that could be a lot of fun. They immediately roll it back saying, well, we don't know if our audiences actually have a whole lot of crossover. We were just, and then it's clear to me they were kind of looking for a shout out, but they didn't actually want to be connected with us. They just wanted to try and snag something.
100%, like, that's what it is.
Oh, I see how it is. Because here's
so you're just
here's the thing. I'm always happy to promote my friends. You know,
100%.
The only reason I didn't promote my friend's album release on this is because I forgot to. But
nice. Do you want to hit it now?
Shout out to Odd Atrocity, fantastic music. Stream Ground Score on Spotify and I'm assuming other places now because it's it's my favorite album right now. I really like it.
Nice. That's big praise.
It's got the vibes, and there's a song that has trombone on it. That was already my favorite song before the trombone got put onto it.
I was like, so it was made for you, is what I'm hearing.
It kind of was. It kind of was.
They looked and they went, what can we do to get Noah on board with this?
But, you know, like, I love promoting my friends. I love saying, "Hey, Dave, friend of the podcast, is dressing up like Donkey Kong and doing a Donkey Konga stream,"
Hell yeah, dude.
which was really funny
Yeah,
and
that's a
really
light.
good. Shout out to Dave for that one. He's a real one.
He is in fact a real one.
But I don't like people saying, "Oh, promote me." That's weird, man. I can't imagine reaching out to people. That's honestly why I'm never going to make it big in the industry, because I could never reach out to someone and say, "Hey, let me use your pull. Let me use your crowd." But there's still also, I'm just going off on a tangent now, so bear with me. But there is a difference between I have an album coming out and I have 3 songs that I know would be good for the radio, and I have a friend who works at a radio station, and I say, "Hey, I would love if you are interested, because I in this situation, for example, I know a guy who used to do a bit on a college radio station where his entire thing was underground music.
Rad.
And he loved to do local music. So if I reached out to him and said, "Hey, we got an album release show. I got an album. I'll give you an album. These are safe songs for the radio, blah, 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 blah. Do you think we could make this happen?" That is so different from me reaching out to someone and I'm like, "Hey, I know you have a successful podcast in Erie, Pennsylvania. Would you promote my album on this?" And even if I tangentially knew the guys.
Yeah.
And I cannot stress enough how tangentially I knew these guys at the barbershop. I did not know them well. It was a I cut his hair twice kind of situation thing, you know?
Yeah.
I think I shit talked Marvel because what was it, Endgame and Infinity War were out at the time, and I remember being like, I don't know how they're actually going to wrap up after Endgame or Infinity War, because Endgame wasn't out yet, and I'm like, I don't know, man. Infinity War was a really strong like part of this. I don't think they're going to be able to match this energy with the next movie. Oh, I don't know about that. Blah blah blah. I'm like, I don't know, man. Their track record isn't that strong on like tying up a big storyline like this. Who was right, guy? It was fucking me, dweeb.
Got him. No, but you're not bitter. Just to be clear.
Oh, I don't give a shit.
I know.
If you like it,
But it
that's
was
fine. Just don't tell me it's like a cinematic masterpiece. It was a superhero movie that was fine.
Same.
But anyway, like that, it's very different to reach out to a guy who I know. Like, it's tailoring your questions to people who you know are going to appreciate those questions, right?
Yes.
I'm not going to promote my thing to you if I don't think you're going to like my thing. I'm going to try and promote a thing to you that I think that you are going to enjoy. You know, I'm not going to sit here and tell you, "Oh my gosh, Dan, I just watched the craziest movie the other day. It was Blood and Guts 7, Return of the Zombie Mummy." And you're going to be like, "I'm not going to lie to you."
That sure is crazy.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm going to tell you about something cool instead, like Hitman Agent 47. One of the most middling action movies I've ever seen that was somehow so much better than Hitman, the movie released in 2007.
Yikes.
They were rough, man. They were rough.
Yikes.
But I'm going to tell you about those because I think we could connect on that.
Yeah, there's a connection point in as much as I know what a Hitman's is.
Exactly. And I'm not going to be like, "Oh my gosh, Dan, the new Evil Dead." I know you don't care about Evil Dead. And that's not a dig against you. That's just I understand that you don't care about Evil Dead. That's fine.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's
the same with self-promotion.
Imagine people liking different things.
Honestly,
frankly.
imagine. I couldn't,
not be
but
me.
you know, some people might.
Some people have been saying.
But if you're going to promote yourself to somebody, then try to tailor your promotion to the correct people. Don't just blindly promote yourself directly to a wide group of people, because you can widely promote yourself. That's normal. If you're out here on like Twitter and Facebook saying, "Hey, I did this thing," that's a broad spectrum advertisement, and that's normal and fine. You are using your own platform. But if you are sliding into someone's DM saying, "Hey, I did a thing and I think you should talk about it." Hey, man, unless they're like actually established as a person that does that, like, that's weird.
Or because I was gonna say, the other thing is that like at that point you should be paying me for an ad shout out, not like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not over here like, "Ooh, we're so important that you should pay me," but like, also if you're asking for, "I purely think that you should promote my work," for nothing, and we don't know each other, you should pay me for that. And I
Mhm.
don't think that's a very hot take.
Yeah.
Like that is just like because you mentioned, oh, that's why I'll never make it big. But I'm like, no, because the people who, like, if I'm getting shouted out on a podcast, if someone's getting shouted out on a podcast that I enjoy, odds are pretty fucking high that they paid to be there.
Yeah.
Not 100% by any stretch, but pretty fucking high. And it's wild to me that for as much as air quotes people, like nobody in specific, but people. Excuse me, hold on. Sorry, let me try that again. It's wild to me that for as much as like people without like like not individuals, but like people as a whole, as much as people I think should like have a better understanding now of like the algorithm in the industry with big air quotes than ever before. It's also wild how much they're just like, but you'll just do this for free still, right? Like we're still in like that era, you know what I mean? And we quite simply have never been.
Mhm.
It has never been an okay thing to do, and yet here you are in my DMs. I get that actually. Ironically, I've gotten that a couple of times from on Twitter now. Now that I'm doing like streaming stuff more consistently, I've
Oh
gotten a
my
couple
god,
of,
that's
like,
my favorite. That's
I've
my
gotten a couple of
favorite. You get a
reaching out and
follower, right? From like
Mhm.
a person who you click on their profile because you get this follow right as you went live,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
You get this and immediately you click on their profile and they're like graphic designer for Twitch
Well,
layouts.
no, I'm not even talking that. I'm talking about game like indie companies now. I've been getting a couple.
Oh.
Yeah, and and like so far every time it's been oh, I just want you to go play it. Like go play my game. And I'm just over here like, but respectfully, you aren't even giving me a copy. So
Mhm.
I will simply not be doing that. But it's wild that it's almost an entitlement thing. You know what I mean? It's almost like my work is what I'm doing is so good and important that you should it is. It's literally that. It's you should be honored to be involved in what I'm doing.
Mhm.
Pay me an exposure, baby.
Like what bugs me, right? Is I would be happy to actually I would be happy to do stuff like that if you're not trying to make me be your like spokesperson for free. I
Yeah,
would be
that's
very happy to help promote you if you just did your end of things and gave me a free copy of the thing.
give me a free copy and give me a copy so that I can give it out to the audience. That's all I'm at. Like,
Yeah.
give me something here. Work with me. I'm small enough. I can't be out here like, yes, give me $7,000 and I will talk about. I will do a like, oh, this episode's sponsored by. But like,
Mhm. But that's very different than and it's oh my god, it's the same as those like shady clothing brands that reach out to you on Instagram. This is probably something you haven't had to deal with,
I have not.
but every now and then, especially girls get this a lot, but I've gotten it a few times anytime I post any picture with my face in it.
Mhm.
I'll get a message saying, "Hey, we think you'd be a great spokesperson for gothemoclothings.me or
To be fair,
Skull
you
and Bone
would.
Designs or
To be
something
fair,
like that."
you would be good for both of those. Let's be clear.
But here's the thing, they aren't going to give me free anything. They give me a creator code, a discount code, if you will, where
Mhm.
oh my god. Oh my god. Dan,
Do you have one right now?
I have one right now.
That is some
Hi,
amazing
I'm the
timing.
promoter team, or I'm on the promoter team at Ghost Jewels, and we think you'd be perfect to wear our jewelry. If you're interested, we'd love to send you 3 pieces for free. Okay, so that's a first. They don't usually actually offer you free anything
Noah's
in my
like, wait, shit,
experience.
hold on. Does everyone else here know actively backpedaling and being like, wait a minute, I actually might take this one.
Well, no, here's the thing. I'm looking at these. These are all they're a bunch of black and white photos. You can't really see the jewelry well. You just see it on people.
Mhm.
None of these shots show me that I think that they're actually like quality jewelry. But yeah, funny as hell. I have blocked Ghost Jewels so many times. I can't even like the people who promote on their behalf. I have blocked them so many times. It's not even funny.
It is actually pretty funny. I won't lie to you.
Like, the funniest thing is the account, it has been long enough since this message was sent to me. The account that sent it to me has already been deleted because it's a spam account.
Amazing.
Because the pages know not to promote themselves like that. So it'll be someone with a link to the page saying, hey, you should go to this page. That way the page isn't actually liable, but it also proves to me that I will never purchase from them.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of these places, they're like drop shipping places. They're not actually like making their products that they advertise. I hate shit like that. It's like, oh, here, use our code collab and you'll get 3 free items. Shut the fuck up. No, I won't. I'll have to pay for something. I know I will. I'm not stupid.
Yeah. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it.
I don't know. I find advertising to be very, very fun. It's something that I enjoy doing when my face is not connected to it. That's the thing that I miss most about working at the church, was being their like guy who just made their social media tick. Cause that was cool. Just doing that stuff. But
Sorry.
no, you're good. It's just, I do not find the same enjoyment doing it for my own products and things that I have to stand by. And I think that's hilarious.
Michelle and I've been, I think I talked about it. We talked about it a little bit when Nina was here, but like, it is wild to me how wildly uncomfortable I am promoting my own stuff. Like, deeply in my core, it makes me feel gross to do it. And I do not know why.
Honestly, I think you're doing great with your Twitch clips. Personally,
I wouldn't have been able to, I would not be doing them if Michelle wasn't literally like practically over my shoulder, like, hey, no, but you actually do have to do this.
Hey, you know what? You're pulling out clips from years ago when we streamed Saints Row 3 or 4.
Yeah, it was a pretty good clip, though.
It was a pretty good clip because I saw that and I'm like, I think that's my voice. I remember that happening because I remember us being stuck in a loop of having to end up restarting the mission.
Yeah, one of the things I do want to do at some point, I'm really bad at it right now. I really want to get into the habit of like, hey, if I have like a friend guesting on it, I need to tag them in it, because God, it's like, on one hand, let's be 100% clear. On one hand, I do use my friends for content at this point. Like, that's I know what I'm doing. I'm not proud of it per se, but I'm also not really that ashamed of it. I'm pretty open about the fact that, hey, I pretty much only play games with people for content now, because that's the only time I have to play games. Like, it's just, I don't play games outside of that, really. Mm-hmm. I might drop like an hour into like Minecraft at midnight or something, but like, that's it. That's all I'm doing.
But there is a difference between doing that and like
gaming with people.
Yeah. And I get it. I get it. You know, we've joked about it, that it's our best way to hang out outside of the podcast is to stream together.
It's the only time I hang out with a lot of people now. It's how Brian and I hang out all the time. Like, we've been playing Grounded on Tuesdays. Without that, I can't even make it out to his Sunday Mario Kart streams anymore, because I got to get up for work the next morning. Like, it's really unfortunate, but it is a fact. Like, I use my friends for content. But if I'm going to do that, the least I should be doing is like posting links to their shit when I post shit that they're featured in. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's something that I need to get into the habit of doing, and I currently am not good at it. Someday.
I have faith in you. I think you'll do it someday.
I'm glad that you believe in me. That makes exactly one person. Got him. Self got him? Whatever.